the introduction, and I'm delighted to be here. Some of you may wonder, although I hope not, why it is that an organization that is focused on HIV and human rights takes up this issue. But of course we do so because it is both the right thing to do and because it is the strategic thing to do. We have so much evidence that our response to HIV among gay, bisexual, and other men who have sex with men is hindered by hatred, by stigma, by criminalization, that it is absolutely essential to any effective HIV response that we protect and defend the rights of LGBTI people. And we've been very fortunate for a number of years to be able to make some contribution to that effort, both domestically and internationally, including, of course, with this conference. It has been mentioned by some previous speakers this morning that there is still work to be done in Canada, and the Legal Network has, over the years, played a role alongside many others in advocating for not only the end to criminalization, but a remedying of the wrongs that have been done historically in Canada to gay and lesbian communities through criminalization. Internationally, of course, we feel a responsibility to stand in solidarity with our queer siblings around the world who are struggling for their rights, for their liberation and dignity. And there have been a number of ways in which we've been pursuing that, including under the able leadership of Maurice. There have been any number of training sessions for law enforcement officers to sensitize them and challenge certain homophobic assumptions and stigma. We have on occasion joined with others here in mobilizing against the export of religiously based hatred from North America. Something else that we heard earlier today is an important part of the strategy and a responsibility of those of us in the global north. We have worked with other organizations here in Canada to press the Canadian government for a stronger and better and more strategic approach to supporting the work of LGBTQ rights advocates around the world. We've been delighted to host any number of LGBTQ rights advocates from various countries around the world, Uganda, Cameroon, numerous countries in the Caribbean, here in Toronto, and arrange meetings for them with policymakers here so that those voices can be heard directly by people here. We have been very pleased to support the community mobilization over the years that has taken place in Jamaica and the convening of the first Montego Bay Pride and a number of successful Montego Bay Prides following that. Again, something that is a real testament to Maurice's leadership. And of course, being a legal organization and human rights advocacy organization, turning to the courts and using legal advocacy tools has been really central to our work. And that is why we have supported advocates in Jamaica, Dominica, and Barbados in bringing forward legal proceedings, whether it be before domestic courts, invoking rights that are ostensibly protected under those countries' constitutions, or using international mechanisms, such as the International American Commission on Human Rights in the case of Barbados, with a petition filed by Barbadian advocates to challenge the criminalization that remains so embedded in the laws of those countries. And I think this conversation, the timeliness of it is underscored by what we see in the context of those litigation efforts. We have, of course, at virtually every turn, been confronted by the opposition, including in the courts, from conservative religious organizations that seek to harness the power of the state to impose their own particular interpretation of the religious texts to which they cleave. And I think that only underscores the importance of gatherings like this and the products that it will produce to help challenge those interpretations and offer a different vision of what it means to be a person of faith, one that actually makes more room for love and inclusion. And there's a further ripple effect of that opposition in that as long as it sustains the criminalization of LGBT people, that has a spillover effect into other domains, as we have also seen in some of the litigation that the Legal Network has been supporting over the years. including, for example, a decision very recently from the Jamaica Court of Appeal, in which the court's decision allowing television stations to refuse to broadcast a very short advertisement urging respect for the rights of gay Jamaicans was justified in part by reference to the fact that consensual sex between men in Jamaica still remains a crime, and therefore somehow in some perverse logic, airing such an advertisement might be interpreted as encouraging the commission of a criminal offense. So I think that what that demonstrates to us is this terrible nexus between conservative religious interpretations sustaining the ongoing criminalization, which then even infects other domains of public policy, including, for example, leading to the denial of freedom of expression for gay and lesbian people, which is, of course, so fundamental to challenging those laws that criminalize us and the violence and the bigotry and the discrimination on which they're based and to which they contribute. And that's why we need to not only seek to change laws and policies, but as so many speakers today and in the previous days have noted, we need to change hearts and minds as well. And that's why these kinds of interventions, such as this conference and the follow-on, is so important. So I want to just close by thanking all of the speakers for bringing their perspectives to this discussion. I want to thank Reverend Hall and the Very Reverend Major Campbell for their role in convening and chairing these sessions. I want to specifically acknowledge my colleagues here at the Legal Network, and in particular, Maurice, obviously, as the coordinator for the conference, but also our other staff who have put in an incredible effort to pull this off. Janet Butler-McPhee, Megan Long, and Terry Gould, and of course, our fantastic technician behind the scenes, who's already been mentioned, Nick Feustel. And lastly, let me just thank the Arcus Foundation and the Carpenter Foundation and Trinity Wall Street for your support for this conference and for this work. It's truly appreciated. And I think we will see that in the end, it does make a difference and brings us closer to liberation and dignity for LGBTQ people around the world. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Richard. And now we have Very Reverend Sean Major Campbell, who is the chair of the Intimate Conviction series. You've had a very quiet role, Sean, and now the world will see you.